Kia ora Year 12, this is the first algebra revision video to help you for derived grade exams. Here are 5 questions reviewing how to simplify powers. Okay, so we're going to start every time with cleaning up whatever we've got in the brackets. I want you to pause the video and have a go at these questions before I work through them. So for this first one, we've got 16x times 4x to the power of 5 to the power of 1/3. Cleaning up what's inside, we get 64x to the power of 6 to the power of 1/3. That gives me 64 to the power of 1/3. That's the cube root of 64, which is 4. And now I have x to the power of 6 times 1/3, which is 2, so 4x squared. Right, let's look at the next one. So here we've got a fraction. We're going to have to think about where we end up having the x's sitting in that fraction. So cleaning this up, we get 4, and then we've got x to the power of invisible 1 over x to the power of 5. So we end up with x to the power of 4 down here. 2 ways you can think about that. Most of you are probably by now thinking of it pretty intuitively as x here and x down here. So where do we end up with the x's once we've simplified? Well, they end up sticking around in the denominator. So I'm looking at the gap between 1 and 5, and it's 4, so they end up down here. Okay, so it's 4 over x to the power of 4 to the power of 1/2. 4 to the power of 1/2 is 2. And here we're going to multiply these powers together again, and we get x squared, 2 over x squared. Right, let's look at question number 3. Very similar numbers, just a bit different. So here we've got 4 over 16 gives me 4 in the denominator. And I can write a 1 in there if I want to. Right, so that's simplifying the fraction. We've got x to the power of 5 here and x to the power of 1 here. So 5 minus 1 gives me x to the power of 4 here to the power of 1/2. Now that 1 looks really silly there, and I don't need it because I've got the x to the power of 4. So let's get rid of the 1 and put the rest of the x symbol back in. So here the final answer will be x squared divided by 2, which we could also write as 1/2 x squared. So remember, these two things are exactly the same. Now in the next 2 examples, I've chucked in some negative powers, but I've taken out the coefficients so that it's not too bad. So in this question here, we're going to work with the top line first. So we'll have x to the power of -10 times y to the power of 14 over x cubed y to the -4. Now negative power means 1 over the positive power. So in here, looking at this numerator first, we'll leave the y to the power of 14 there. X to the -10 is the same as 1 over x to the 10. We'll leave the x cubed here, and y to the -4 in the denominator is the same as y to the 4 in the numerator. So my final answer here is y to the power of 18 over x to the power of 13. Okay, now there's another way that we can do this, which is using our Year 9 rules about subtracting powers. So I'm going to do this question again now. So in here, we've got x to the power of -10 minus 3 times y to the power of 14 minus -4, which is x to the -13, y to the 18, which gives me y to the power of 18 over x to the power of 13, right? Because we don't want to have any negative powers when we write our final answer. Okay, so that's that one done. Now, if you've just figured out how to do those, try the next one before I do it, because it's pretty similar. Cleaning up the numerator first, we get x to the power of 14, y to the power of -4, divided by x to the -4, y to the -10. So everything that's got a negative power needs to be on the opposite side of the fraction line, right? And the reason for that is that if I've got x to the negative 3, that's equal to 1 over x cubed. But if I've got 1 over x to the negative 3, that means I've got 1 over x cubed, which is the same as x cubed. So in here, what do we have? Well, we have x to the 14 just sitting there, and then this y here will be y to the power of 4 in the denominator. This x to the negative 4 in the denominator will be x to the power of 4 here, and then this y to the power of negative 10 will be y to the power of 10 here. So that gives me x to the power of 18, y to the power of 6. Now the other way we could do it, again one more time, is that we could do our first step the same. So x to the power of 14, y to the power of negative 4, over x to the negative 4, y to the negative 10. Right, let's do our year 9 subtracting the powers thing. So x to the 14 minus negative 4 times y to the negative 4 minus negative 10. That gives me x to the power of 18, y to the power of 6. There's not much difference in the methods, and I don't mind which one you do. You just need to be really careful if you're using this method, that you're careful that when you're subtracting your negatives, that you have a minus and negative will give you an addition. Okay, that's all from me for now. I'm about to do video 2, which will be on expanding brackets. If you identify topics when you're going through doing your revision that you want videoed, please just shoot me an email and I can do one.